Hi friends, Jill Angie here, and as promised, here is the full debrief from the full day independent bookstore crawl that my friend Amy and I did last Friday in New York City in Lower Manhattan. Now, this was not a bookstore crawl that was organized by anybody else. This was one where I actually spent hours and hours going through all of the bookstores in Lower Manhattan, the indie bookstores, and kind of curating a list of like different and diverse and interesting kind of places with all kinds of vibes. And also that would be on a nice walkable route that we could do in one day. So we ended up with 8 bookstores on the list. And this is what the map looked like, because I'm a map girly. And we started up here and then worked our way all the way down to here. Now, we originally had, like I said, we originally had 8 bookstores on the list. As we were walking through and stopping and talking to all of the different bookstore proprietors, all of the folks that were working there, which was amazing, by the way. We had so much fun just kind of like getting to know the people working at each of the bookstores. But along the way, there were 3 more bookstores that we were like, oh, let's see if we can make it happen. We made 2 of them happen. And then one of the bookstores that we had planned on going to was unexpectedly closed for inventory or something like that. So we had 8 planned. We went to 10 and we went inside 9. And then there was one that was like a hopeful add-on, but we just couldn't make it happen. I'll tell you about that one in a moment. So let's go through. I'm going to talk about each individual store that we went to, the books that I got, why I picked them up, and then also what my favorite thing is, which I've now managed to lose. There we go. There it is. What my favorite thing is from each something that I do with each bookstore that I go to. So actually I'm going to start with that. So our first bookstore was 3 Lives and Company, and this is the bookmark that they gave out. So whenever a bookstore gives away a free bookmark, I always take it. I have a whole collection of them. I need to figure out a way to properly display all of my bookstore bookmarks. But anyway, 3 Lives and Company. This one is just so pretty with this lovely little photo or drawing on it. And what I loved about it was they've been in business since 1978. So they are a Gen Xer, this bookstore. Anyway, 154 West 10th Street, right in kind of the Stonewall sort of neighborhood. And this is a really small bookstore, but it is beautifully curated. So one of the things I loved is I walked in and I felt like every book that was on display had been chosen because, not because, oh, this book is selling really well, but because this is a book that is meaningful and is something that people, you know, really need to read. So that's one of the things I loved about this bookstore. I will say I came to this indie bookstore crawl with a list of about 30 to 40 books that are kind of in the, oh, I might want to read that. Like, I'll check it out if I see it. And so at most of the bookstores we went to, I found at least one of the books on my list. And that is absolutely the case for 3 Lives, where I found Murderland. So I am writing my first mystery novel right now, and my whole life I've kind of been obsessed with true crime and serial killers. I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but anyway, Murderland, crime and bloodlust in the time of serial killers. I don't know. I liked the title. When I put it on my list, I was like, oh, that's an interesting title. I want to check it out. And then when I looked at the inside, I was like, oh yeah, this is right up my alley, because it's all about sort of like the heyday, I guess, of American serial killers. So this is the first book I picked up, which was on my list. The next book was Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by B.E. Schwab. And I picked this up because I liked the cover. I do a lot of picking things up because I either like the cover or I like the title. And my friend Amy, who is not into horror as a genre, was like, ooh, that looks like a vampire book. And I immediately, my radar went off. I was like, ooh, vampires. So yes, there is no actual mention of vampires on the book jacket, but I'm reading between the lines. I'm pretty sure it's a vampire book, and I love me a good vampire story. So It's also a signed edition, which is super fun. So that's that one. And then the third book I got at 3 Lives was called A Little History of the World. And I don't know, I love books that take big topics and drill them down into bite-sized things. And I feel like the history of the world probably should take up more than this, but this is about, as far as like reading history, I don't like to dive into like enormous encyclopedic style books. So this is, okay, it says Inspiring Guides for Curious Minds. This wonderfully readable introduction to world history tells the story of humanity from the Stone Age to the atomic bomb. And I don't know, I was like, yeah, this looks pretty interesting. I think one of the quotes on the back is, lucky children will have this book read to them. Intelligent adults will read it for themselves and regain contact with the spirit of European humanism at its best. I'm not sure what to think of that quote, but anyway, I'm going to give this book a try and see. I think this is like going to be probably a palate cleanser for me. So I tend to read a lot of mysteries, and I'll probably read a few mysteries and then like maybe the vampire book, and then I'll do a palate cleanser with some nonfiction. So that was 3 Lives. Beautiful place. That's where we started our day at 10 a.m. After that, we walked maybe 3/4 of a mile, I guess, to the next door, which was McNally. And we even got to take a nice little walk through Washington Square, which I absolutely love. And McNally Jackson Books, this is, let me put it up the right way. This is their bookmark, which I love. It's so pretty. And they said they've been 20 years in New York. This McNally, is actually a chain, but they're an independent chain located around New York City. So they have locations in most of the boroughs, I think. And the vibe at McNally was, so it was a much larger bookstore than 3 Lives, and they have like a gift area in the front. I got like a little notebook, and then I got this, I don't know why I needed to have this, but I bought it. Just a little, oh, and I got this birthday card, so I don't know who I'm going to give this to. It made me laugh. So they had lots of like cute little gifts in front, and the vibe was just very friendly. It's actually 2 levels, and the second level is sort of a I want to say rail. It's like a ledge where you go up and there's a railing, and then there's like a second level of books all the way around the outside edge. So there was a huge selection. Definitely a more, like almost a more Barnes and Noble kind of vibe. If it's what Barnes and Noble would be if it was an independent bookstore. So, really loved this place. I got 3 books there as well. And again, I started by picking this one up immediately as I walked in because of the title. And it seems like it's a little bit of a fable. It's, about a boy and his cat Cabbage, and he is, okay, it's a boy and his cat Cabbage, and the boy, a young man, I'm sorry, young man and his cat Cabbage, and he gets a terminal diagnosis. He finds out he only has a few months to live. The devil shows up and makes a deal. In exchange for making one thing in the world disappear, the man will be granted 1 extra day of life. And so that is the premise of this story. And I'm really hoping that he doesn't make the cats disappear, because I love my cats. So that's by Genki Kawamura. There you go. So that was the first book I picked up. Then I found this book that was on my list, The Spell Shop, by Sarah Beth Durst. And this is a fantasy tale. I don't know. It says, the spell shop sweeps readers into a world of mer horses, illegal spells, and first loves. It's as comforting as homemade jam on a fresh baked muffin. Okay, yeah, I'm in. So this one, and it has a really pretty purple edge, which I love. So that one was on my list, and that one I snapped up. And then I also picked up this one strictly because there was a beautiful cover with an octopus. I love octopuses. And this is actually not, I don't know, this is more of a, like a tech corporation has discovered a species of octopus that has developed its own language and culture. And I'm like, oh yeah, hell yeah, I'm in. It also had this really interesting edge. So The Mountain in the Sea by Ray Naylor was the third book that I got there. And from there, we hustled on to Housing Works, which is a thrift store bookstore. So they mostly sell used books. They sell a lot of other items like housewares and clothing. They had a nice little cafe, coffee shop in the back. And so we perused there for quite a while. I did not find anything that was on my list, but, oh, I almost forgot to show you. This was their bookmark. And then on the back, there's a little QR code if you want to support them. So as a thrift store, they support a lot of charities relating to housing and so forth. It was a beautiful, beautiful vibe there. They had a ton of merch as well, but I have so many tote bags at this point in time and so many mugs that I was like, I just can't. But I did find a retelling of Emma by Alexander McCall Smith. And I don't know, Emma is one of my favorite stories, one of my favorite novels. And I was like, oh, it might be kind of fun to just read it from a different perspective. So this was, it's used, came out in, I don't know, 2014. Oh, it's not as old as I thought. And I also thought that it might be interesting to hear the tale of Emma retold from a man's perspective instead of from a female perspective. So here we go. That's what I got at Housing Works. Now, after Housing Works, we went to a really cool shop called P&T Knitwear, which is a bookstore. And there's a real interesting story behind it. The building originally housed a company called P&T Knitwear, which the current owners of the bookstore, it was their maybe grandparents or great-grandparents that were fleeing Europe during ahead of World War II, came to New York City, started a knitwear company in this building, and then, you know, it was a successful company. Eventually, I'm not sure what happened to the company, but eventually the company no longer existed, but they still owned the building. And the owners of this bookstore they decided to honor the origins of the family ownership of the building by naming their bookstore P&T Knitwear. Now, there's also a podcast studio inside this store, which I thought was super fun, and that's another one of the reasons that I chose it. So they did not have any bookmarks with P&T Knitwear on them, but they did give me this really funny one. They were like, oh, we have these other like author promo ones by, let's see, Rob Hart, I guess. So very sort of noir sort of style of book. And I was like, I will take it because I just love bookmarks, and this one will make me laugh when I remember that it came from P&T Knitwear. Now, this is where I bought the most books and where I also found 2 books on my list. So we'll start with Lucy Foley, The Midnight Feast. This is, let's see, welcome to the opening weekend of The Manor, a luxury resort built on top of old secrets in an ancient forest. And everyone has an agenda, everyone has a past, but not everyone will survive. Very, very classic mystery style story. I love Lucy Foley. So The Midnight Feast was the first one I picked up because I saw it and I was like, oh, that's on my list. Let me grab it. The next one I grabbed was How to Age Disgracefully, and I specifically picked this up because of the title. It turns out that it's about seniors fighting back. It's like a comedy, literary fiction type of book. Just sort of a, I don't know, community having fun, and I think there are some shenanigans. So How to Age Gracefully by Claire Pooley, and I'm very excited to read this because as I am just a couple years away from turning 60, I am very excited to just kind of read books that have my age group in them rather than always reading books about people in their 30s and 40s. All right, the next book, also, this was not on my list, but I picked it up because of the title, Sociopath. So as I mentioned earlier, I've been kind of obsessed with true crime and serial killers and stuff my whole life. I just think it's fascinating. And so this is about a woman who was actually diagnosed as a sociopath, and the top part says, Patrice Gagné realized she made others uncomfortable before she started kindergarten. Long story short, she's eventually diagnosed as a sociopath, and this is her story, which I think is really interesting. Yeah, so that'll probably be, again, a palate cleanser in between heavy mystery and fantasy type books. And then finally, this is one that was on my list that I've been waiting for a long time for it to come out, and it came out a couple days before our trip. Sunny Side Up by Katie Storino. Now, Katie Storino, if you don't follow her on Instagram, you should be. She's a plus size fashion influencer, and she's just got a great message about being a plus size human in the world. And so she's written a novel, and I don't know. It says it's about a plus size woman and her life. So I'm very excited for this one. And that was P&T Knitwear. Now, after P&T Knitwear, we were going to go to Clinton Baking Company for lunch. We made reservations 2 weeks in advance, but we could not get reservations, so we were on the wait list. When we got there, there was a 90-minute wait to get in, so we said, fuck that. And we found this diner, Remedy Diner, which was just 2 blocks down from Clinton and Company. And we had a really awesome meal. So if you're ever in the area, our server even wrote a little note for us. Thank you and come again soon. So highly recommend Remedy Diner. From Remedy Diner, I had a buffalo chicken wrap, and my friend Amy had a tuna melt. By the way, we both had fresh lemonade, which was mwah, highly recommend. And then from there, we walked about, quarter of a mile to Book Club Bar. I was so excited because this is literally a bar, coffee shop, bookstore, all wrapped into one. And very plain but descriptive bookmark. So this place I had really high hopes for. I kind of expected that we would have lunch and then we would go there and pick up some books and then sit on. It was advertised that there's lots of places to lounge and read while you're sipping your drink. There were not a lot of places to lounge and read, and there were not a lot of books. The selection wasn't great. So the vibe was lovely, but there was really no place for us to hang out and chill because everything was already occupied. And so we ended up just purchasing our books and motoring on. And so I got one book there, which was on my list, Murder Takes a Vacation by Laura Lippman. And I love this author, classic mystery story. So I will be diving into this one probably pretty soon. 8 Days, 7 Nights, One Dead Body. Yes, please. So from there, we were actually kind of ahead of schedule, which was very exciting. And we had also, the reason it was exciting is because we had forgot to mention at P&T Knitwear, they mentioned 2 additional bookstores that we might want to check out. And one of them was Sweet Pickle Bookstore, which is a used bookstore. And you apparently, if you bring your used books in, they will pay you in pickles, and they're supposed to have really amazing pickles. Now, I didn't have any books to give because I just bought a bunch of books that I was like, I haven't read these yet. I'm not giving them up. But we definitely were excited because now we had a little extra time that we could fit that in. And so we hustled to our next bookstore, which was Blue Stocking, which was, I'm completely spacing on what street it was on, but regardless, it was, it helps out the LGBTQ community, and we absolutely love this bookstore. Now, they're actually, it was a combination of used and new books. And it was all kind of like a lot of feminist fiction, a lot of LGBTQ fiction and nonfiction. And so it wasn't like the kind of bookstore where you go in and, you know, you're like, oh my gosh, like all of these mysteries and this and that you've been looking for. It's more the kind of bookstore where you go in and you're like, oh, this is interesting. Like, I'm going to check this out and maybe I'll find some books that can help me understand somebody else's perspective, somebody else's experience. So it's much more of a bookstore to help you start thinking about the world differently. And I really appreciated that. There was also a beautiful seating area. So we actually each got a couple books to kind of like browse through and relax with for a little while, which is what we were hoping to do at book club bar, but we ended up doing it more at Blue Stocking. And so at Blue Stocking, they did not have bookmarks, but what they did have, which we had just missed, but there was a Lower East Side Pride bookstore crawl, and they gave us one of their bingo cards, and they stamped some of the things that we had already done. I realized later on that we had done actually most of them, but we missed the Pride crawl. It was Saturday, June 21st. We missed it by a week. But I will be marking my calendar for next year because this was super cool. So no bookmark, but I'm calling this my bookmark because it was really fun. Now, the book that I purchased at Blue Stocking is called Cult Classic. This is not one that was on my list. Okay, wait, I'm lying because apparently there was a bookmark, which she must have like snuck in the book when I wasn't looking. It's very cute. I love this bookmark. Oh, now I'm super happy. Live, you're seeing it live, me discovering an extra bookmark and how happy it makes me. So Cult Classic is, this just looks super interesting. And when I brought it up to the register, the woman said, oh, that she had heard that this was a really amazing book. One night in New York City's Chinatown, a woman is at a reunion dinner with former colleagues when she excuses herself to buy a pack of cigarettes. On her way back, she runs into an ex-boyfriend and then another and then another. What would normally pass for coincidence becomes something far stranger. All in. I'm all in. And also, the cover is absolutely stunning. The author is Sloane Crosley, author of I Was Told There'd Be Cake. So I'm probably going to have to find that novel as well because I do appreciate a good cake related book. So there we go. So this is what I got at Blue Stocking. Now, from Blue Stocking, we went to Sweet Pickles. On the way to Sweet Pickles, we stopped by another bookstore that somebody had mentioned, which was the Tenement Museum bookstore. And that was so cool. So very cool. And I really wish we had time to go through the museum and take the tour. We did not, but we spent quite a bit of time in the bookstore. I did not buy any books there, but I did buy some gifts. And if the person who is watching this or the person who's getting the gift is watching this, I'm not going to show what I bought, but let it stand that they had a really, really cool gift store and they had lots and lots of really awesome books. From the Tenement bookstore, we went to Sweet Pickles. Now, I will say Sweet Pickles looked like an amazing place. We walked in about 10 feet and my claustrophobia, introvert, everything just shut me down, as well as my friend Amy. She felt the same way because it's a very long, narrow store. And when you're standing in the middle of the store, like I could reach out and touch the bookshelves on either side with my fingertips. Like it's that narrow. They did have what looked like a lot of pickles, and the store was super, super crowded. They had books everywhere. So it looked like the selection was good. The pickles were there. The vibes were there. I could not handle being in such a narrow space with that many people. So I'm like, I will have to come back on a day when it is not as crowded because it did look like a great bookstore. So that was Sweet Pickles. From there, we hoofed it over to Chinatown to go to You and Me bookstore. You is spelled Y-U, You and Me. And I was so excited for this shop. They were closed. They were closed. And I was like, I had done my due diligence. I had gone on every single website of every single bookstore to check their hours to make sure everything fit with our tour. And but what I did not do was go on You and Me's Instagram, where a couple days before they had announced that they would be closed for vacation or inventory or something like that. So you live and learn, right? For my next book crawl, I will definitely be checking more up to the minute, and I will be checking multiple places. I will be checking Instagram, I'll be checking websites and all the things. So that left us one remaining bookstore. But before I tell you about that, so we walked from Chinatown to our final bookstore, and we had to walk by one of the courthouses in New York City that was absolutely swarming with media. And lo and behold, it was the P. Diddy trial. Like, media everywhere. It was bananas. So we were like, we don't really want to be on TV, especially not for this. So we kind of like skirted around that while kind of looking at it out of the side of our eye. And then we made it to the final bookstore, which was sort of the capstone of the day. At least for me, it was the one I was looking forward to the most. And that is the Mysterious Bookshop. Now, this is a bookstore that is dedicated just to mysteries, thrillers, true crime. Be still, my heart. Oh my God. So this is their bookmark. And the vibes in this place did not disappoint. You walk in and it's huge. It's 2 stories high, the interior, and the bookshelves go all the way up. And so there's ladders and anything you want. Like there's people running around just like grabbing things off of ladders, or, you know, like running up the ladders to grab things for you. They had just, oh my God, the selection was absolutely incredible. And so I got 2 books from my list here. I would have gotten a lot more, but I will tell you by this point, Amy and I had purchased between the 2 of us about 24 books, and we were about to buy, another half dozen. And we had this rolling tote that was getting so heavy that I was like, first of all, it wouldn't fit any more than 6 more books. We literally had no more space for it. And I was like, I don't know if this gets any heavier, like we're not going to be able to get it up and down the stairs on the subway. So we limited it. So I'm going to go real quick through what I got there. The first book I picked up was actually on my list, Megan Abbott, El Dorado Drive. This is one I've been wanting to read for ages. So I picked this one up. Very excited. Tense, chilling, and beautifully written. Yes, please. The next one I got is Moonflower Murders by Andrew Horowitz. This is the second book in the, I guess it's the Magpie series. So Magpie Murders was the first one I read of his, and it is maybe one of the best mystery books I've ever read because it's like, it's a mystery inside a mystery. It held my attention so deeply. When I got to the end, I was brokenhearted. And then I realized he had written 2 more in the series, and this is the second one. So Moonflower Murders, I'm very, very excited to read this one. Cannot recommend this enough. Well, I cannot recommend Magpie Murders enough. I'm assuming this is going to be just as good. And then finally, this was like a last minute impulse purchase because my friend Amy saw it and she's like, you need this book. Jill is not happy. I did not even look at the synopsis on the back. I just saw the cover and I said, this sounds about right. So it's a mystery book. Jill and her husband Jack, wealthy, popular, and genetically blessed, blah, blah, blah. They go on a road trip. Shenanigans happen. So that was the final book. And from there, we hopped on the train back to Penn Station, and then we hopped the train back to Philly. So this was such a fun adventure. I'm going to be trying to do one in every city. I think New York City is probably the easiest place to do this because there are so many bookstores in such a it's like a very dense population of bookstores versus Philly where you have to walk quite a bit farther or even drive because it's, in the suburbs. I feel like London would be a great place to do a similar thing to this Lower Manhattan one. But next year, I'm going to plan one for Midtown. And again, I will tell you all about it. But anyway, that's that. If you have questions or if you're interested in learning more about what we did, go ahead, put a comment below, and I'll do my best to answer. All right. Thank you for watching. Bye.